I'm just saying, testing the mic because I can't hear it. Neville! Start holding the mic! Neville! Oh, there you go. There's Neville. Thank you, Mr. Funky Smith. It's a bit echoey. Can we take off some of the reverb, please? The reverb. Listen, what a natural echo have I, darling? Yes. Resonating. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Abby. You can hear us. And we are here in the London Something Live studios. And this is ZERIOUS Zounds. And today we are joined by a great, the mighty, mighty Shiloh Music is in the studio today. Welcome to the studio, Shiloh.
Hello.
I'm really excited to have Shiloh because you're somebody, in terms of DJ, especially like a female DJ, that has been around in my orbit for a long time. And I used to listen. I didn't actually really know you then. Like we met out on the scene partying, but I didn't really know you. But I used to hear you back in the days and think, yeah, go on, girl. Go on, Shiloh. So it's really interesting for me to have you here and to be able to jump into your mind, find out a little bit about you and your journey, and then we're going to have a lovely little back-to-back and then, you know, get in a vibe. So let's start the interview. So first question, the name Shiloh, where does that come from?
It's the village that my granddad comes from in South Africa. Rest in peace, Pops. Yeah, and that's why I picked the name.
Okay.
I was actually going to be Lady V, and then a few people were like, your name doesn't match the sound that you play. So I had to think quickly, and that was the first name that came.
So Lady V, so is that from your name?
Yes, because, yeah, I'm not even going to tell you what my problem is.
Yeah, because I didn't. You're Shiloh. Who is Lady V? How you mean? So how long have you been DJing?
It must be coming up to about 10 years now, I think. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, about that, yeah.
And what inspired you to start DJing?
Do you know, it was actually other people. So I used to collect a lot of music, and I used to send my brother CDs because he was my brother, Mikey Funky. Hi, bro.
Hi, Mikey. I didn't actually know that till you told me last week that Mikey Funky's your brother, you know.
Yeah, my baby brother.
Little baby, yeah. I won't ask the difference. My sister gets annoyed when we do all of that, so he's your baby brother.
Yes, my baby brother.
So yeah, your brother.
I used to collect music before I started DJing. I used to send him CDs of stuff, and him and another one and my best friend Simone, hey Sim, used to be like, why don't you get into it? Why don't you try DJing? I thought, nah. And then I got an iPad which had a tractor on it, and I started practicing on that. And then my brother showed me how to use a controller. And then it just kind of snowballed.
So did he DJ first?
Yes.
Or? Okay. It's funny you say that because I used to make compilations, like long before I even started thinking about mixing, just getting the music together. And I used to download on LimeWire, wherever. Or just I'm old.
Yeah.
And then yeah, your computers mash up forever. And then I would put them on CDs and I would distribute them to my friends and family. But that was without mixing. So music has basically been in your soul for a long time then.
Yeah, I used to, when I was younger, I used to play instruments. I played the saxophone and I played the clarinet because of my dad, rest in peace, Pops. Because of my dad. And then my parents used to be in the theatre when I was younger. So, yeah, music's always been part of my life. Yeah.
Okay, so you were inspired by family members.
Yeah.
And so when did you start actually taking it seriously?
I sent a mix that I'd done off I think I just got the controller, and I'd sent a mix to Joel and Panther, rest in peace, P. After meeting them at Thomas à Becket, they were DJing, and I was showing them what they were playing, and Panther was like, who are you? Like, are you a DJ? And I was like, no.
What do you mean you were showing them what they were playing?
As they were DJing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how do you know this? Like, are you a DJ? And I'm like, no, I just collect music and I like music. And I said I wanted to get into it, so Panther said, send me a mix. I sent it to them, and the rest is history. I was invited to go on to House FM, and I've been there ever since.
So you've been on House of Femme for like 10 years now, yeah?
Coming up to, yeah.
So tell me a bit more about your journey. So you started at Thomas and Becket, you got into House of Femme. What, getting onto House of Femme, because that's like a really significant station. Like for me, like House of FM is something special, and it's been there for a long time. Like, how did that change your journey or your life?
Um, I think it made me take it a lot more seriously, and I was a lot more conscious of the stuff that I was doing. And Joel and Panther really took me under their wing, and they helped me out massively with my confidence as well, because that was a big thing. Because when I started, I was coming up at the time when everyone had this problem with controller DJs and all of that kind of stuff. So
Wait. Tell me a little bit about this, because on this show I do like to think about the little DJ problems that go on. So what is the controller issue?
I think around that time when I was starting, people didn't take you seriously. If you used a controller, people did not take you seriously at all. And I was always really conscious of the fact that I used a controller. My music was never a problem. It was always just being taken seriously by people. And basically,
So basically, because I've only ever used the USB CDJs. Yeah, that's it. CDJs. Yeah, get my technical terminology there. So I've only ever used CDJ. So how would it be different in a rave? So did they used to use USBs then? Because I thought that was quite a new thing, really.
USB is a new thing. It was CDs.
Oh, okay. So you had a controller and the laptop, and
And I remember playing out once, and my laptop decided to reboot just as I was about to come on. And luckily, I knew one of the other DJs in the booth, and he put on a track for me, and I managed to get myself sorted out. But I think, a lot of people didn't take people that played on controllers seriously. I don't know.
so it must have been a lot of pressure at that time as well, because there weren't very many female DJs really making an impact those days. It must have been a lot of pressure getting up there and, with your controller, being a lady. How did you find being a woman in the scene at that time?
I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I was very conscious of my appearance as well. Like, I'd spent a long time just wearing T-shirts because I didn't want things... Like, that was a time when Paris Hilton was just starting out, and there was just loads of celebrity DJs, female DJs, wearing next to nothing and things like that. So I was very conscious of what I looked like, how I played, would I be taken seriously? But people...
So were you trying to avoid being that kind of image? That's what we were, T-shirts. You didn't want to... you want people to recognise you for...
what I'm playing, rather than what I look like.
And I think even now, there's still quite a lot of pressure on women. Like recently, I've certain DJs that I've spoken to, they're getting trolled for what they look like, and like women DJs, you're supposed to look like this, and even also as well, like appearance, being a woman of color. Did that have an impact?
If I'm honest, I think because of the scene that I was in, my colour for me personally was never an issue. Okay. Because I was surrounded by people that...
people of colour.
Yeah, so my colour was not really, for me personally, an issue. I was just more conscious about being a woman, trying to get my foot in the door with established male DJs, on our scene anyway. Yeah, but I did well. I mean, my first booking, or one of my first big bookings, was for Back to 95.
That was your first big booking there. That's really big, isn't it? And so tell me a little bit about that then, your first big booking then.
Me and my brother played back to back. It was at Scala. I just remember the phone call. So do you guys want to play? And I was like, what? We're playing at Back to 95? Like, I used to rave there. Like, this, I never ever thought it would happen like that. And I really enjoyed it. But one person I do have to thank, actually, is GGB, because he's the person that actually got my first booking.
So what was your first? What was that then?
That was for a brand called We Are Meraki, and Freight Train were doing it with me as well. Steve Scorps. So yeah, shouts out to GG for that one.
And I want to send a massive shout out to GGB. I've been doing a little bit of work with him recently, and he's such a humble, calm, helpful, sweet king, and he's done so much within the scene for such a long time, and he's still here. So shout out Gigi and Four Corners and all the people that you've helped, really.
And I have to give special mention, of course, to my boys Joel and Panther, because they're the ones that really kind of trained me up, especially Joel.
Shout out Joeless.
Yeah, he's a hard taskmaster, but I'm glad that he didn't take it easy on me, because I don't think I would be where I am now if he had taken it easy on me. You know, there's one day he dropped me home and I had my controller in the car, and he's like, if I see this thing in a studio next week, I'm taking it. I had to leave it in my house. Every week from that point on, I was learning how to use CDJs live on air.
So you went from controller to CDJs and not CDs.
I was using CDs them times there, because obviously we didn't have USBs and things like that. But yeah, straight from controller onto that, and I had to learn every week live on radio.
I can relate to that, because that's what I've kind of been doing, really, like just getting on, and you just have to, you sink or swim. Sometimes you sink. Someone might throw you a float every now and again, but you know, it's a sink or swim thing. So shout out Joe Less. Yeah, he's also somebody who's definitely, you know, he's passionate and very, very knowledgeable. So shout out to you. So where else has music taken you?
Oh God, I've done Back to 95, I've done Groove Odyssey, I've done 51st State Festival, I think maybe about 4 times now. I mean, if you're talking about clubs, sorry about that. If you're talking about clubs, I've done Pasha, the old Pasha, Coco, Ministry of Sound, Great Suffolk Street Warehouse, XOYO, yeah.
You've been out here for a long time. What do you think about changes within the scene and the music and how it's changed over the time that you've been DJing?
In terms of the scene, like, I'm not somebody that really pays attention to a lot of stuff. Like, I kind of just in my own thing. I go to places that I like the sound of the music. I don't really follow anyone or a particular brand per se. In terms of changes in the scene, like I said, I'm not really. I guess I'm just on the outside, isn't it?
Well, I think you're slap bang in the middle, darling. How do you mean on the outside? What do you mean? But I mean, okay, so what is your sound then? What kind of sound do you play?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not?
Shit, I like.
The shit I like that, because I like to play the shit I like to. And there is a lot of discussion that I get with people telling me that, you know, you need to pick a sound. What do you think about that? Like, do you so you say you play the shit that you like, which is
a lot of times I play tech house, but then obviously we're depending on where I am, because when I started with Back to 95, I wasn't really playing that. I was playing things like Mary Mary Charisma, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. But my thing is, if I like it and it fits within the set that I'm playing, it doesn't really matter what the genre is. But equally, if I don't like something, I don't care how popular it is. If I don't like it, I'm not playing it, sorry.
Yeah, I hear that 100%.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
So what would you say your favourite kind of sound is to play? Tech house, like deep tech, or techno tech?
Again, I don't know, because it depends on my mood and where I am, and because there's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to listen to tech house, so let me listen to something maybe a little bit more soulful. But generally, tech house.
I really struggle to be able to define them as well. I think that's something that I found really difficult when I've started to DJ. The difference between like Afro house and funky house, and then certain deep house, older deep house, which fits into like a certain bracket. Like,
But it can fit into many things. And for me, what I find confusing is sometimes when I go on like Beatport and Traxsource, and I hear stuff, like, I'm by no means a musical expert. If you ask me to break down the differences between things, I don't. I just it's based on what I feel like, and at the time, if it appeals to me or I feel something when I hear it, I will buy it. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought.
what do you think about like the Amapiano and the change? Like, because when I was thinking about the changes in the scene, I think Amapiano has kind of come through. And I think it's definitely had a massive impact on the UK scene and the music style we play, because I'm a lover of Afro house. but it is a bit different. So what do you think about Amapiano and this and the impact that it's having?
I mean, it is great. I'm South African, so obviously
Yeah.
it's great that this music, but that's not, how can I play it at specific places, but I'm not that deeply entrenched in it. You know, like I'll play the odd few things, and there's always things that I like. Shouts out to the UK producers doing their own thing.
Yeah, I do actually really love because I don't know. I tend to call the UK sound more tribal, but I find it extremely difficult to define the different sounds.
But I do believe you can hear the difference. I couldn't quantify what it is, but I know you can definitely hear the difference between proper, well, I say proper, Amapiano and UK stuff, because it does, I guess it does have funky elements to it, because a lot of the producers that are making it used to make funky house.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and the speed is definitely something. That I mean, this is no for me. I think as somebody who parties and I'm used to listening to a certain sound,
Yes.
I do find it difficult, but I do really feel the vibrations of it and the like the rolling bass lines and some of the drums.
Yeah,
But then speed is it's
for me. Yeah, I find it too slow. Personally, I know that's the speed it's meant to be played at, but for me, if you play it at its true speed, it's too slow for me.
for me too a bit. I do push the boundaries, and I don't mean to offend any producers that I'm playing your music on caricature cartoon speed to you, but for me, I mean that's how it sounds better to me. So what kind of things can we expect of Lady Shiloh in the future?
I'm thinking about going down the production route. Well, I guess it's long overdue. I'm not trying to put any pressure on myself. I'll get round to it when I get round to it. So please don't ask me when this is going to happen. Just to continue to play music. I've got my radio show on House FM every Saturday from 8 until 10. Yeah, just play music. I love playing music.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think is important because it makes you feel some type of way, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there have been times when I've like, should I give it up? Because I've been doing it for so long. And I think there was a point where I was struggling like to find music because I found, especially with the genre that I play, everything was beginning to sound the same. So it goes through phases where there's lots of variety, and then there's this phase where there's one popular kind of sound, and then everybody tries to emulate that. Yeah. And I was struggling to find music. But then I also think it depends on where you buy your stuff from. I'm trying to get my head around Bandcamp.
Yeah, I mean it's like the new. I put a track out on Bandcamp. Probably must be coming up to like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's just like I don't really get it. Nobody buys it. Nobody wants it. Like it's not really promoted. But since being on this station, I've seen that there's a lot of record labels and producers that are out there, and it gives the opportunity for independent people to get their music out, and I think it's brilliant.
You own your stuff. If you put it out on Bandcamp, you own your stuff. The money from people buying it comes directly to you. I'm assuming you maybe have to pay a little bit of distribution for Bandcamp, but you're not beholden to.
I don't know if you do, because I think I just put my track up there. It's just been sitting there.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Somebody buy it. Control me. It's available to download on Bandcamp. Natural Wright. Buy it. It's a good track. So you just talked about one of the problems that you had about finding music. What other challenges or problems have you faced being a DJ?
Oh God! All right, equipment dying on me in either before I'm gonna play or in the middle of my set. Emergency loop. Oh my God!
What's emergency loop?
That's when one of your USBs messes up and the deck that you're playing on just loops, and you'll see red and it just says emergency loop.
I haven't had that. I don't want that. I don't want that one. No, you don't want that. I mean, you can't get it off, and it just stays on.
Sometimes you have to either switch off the deck or start playing on top. Yeah, it's a madness.
That sounds like an absolute nightmare.
You just got to deal with these things.
Yeah, I think a lot of my anxiety shows on my face. If I mess up and I'm like like everything, I can't hide it. Have you got any stories about, apart from when your PC throws on you, your laptop? What other interesting, scary stories have you got for me to look out for?
Like, my face leaks information like yours. If I'm not happy, I've got to a stage now where I'm slightly better. But like you, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So when you mess up a mix, I'm mad. I'm losing.
You know this, innit? It's like, it's not funny, like it's not.
No. In terms of things that have happened to me, it has definitely been the emergency loop. One time before I went to do my radio show, everything was fine. Set everything up, put my key in, and then this mad error message came up, and I'm like, this is like 5 minutes before my show's got to start. I tried everything, I couldn't fix it. In the end, I had to be digging in cupboards, finding new decks to put up. Like it was a lot.
But it's definitely about being resilient, and I'm really, really glad that you didn't give up, and you're still out here playing, because you are inspirational, and it's amazing to see and hear you. But really, why though?
No, I just feel really awkward because I'm just me, innit? Like, you know me. Like, I'm just, as much as people know who I am, the people that really, really know me know, it just makes me feel really awkward.
But actually, I do see it, because sometimes when you're playing and we start the old Shiloh, she's like, no, we're not going to shut up. It's Shiloh's on the decks. Shut down Shiloh.
I'll blame Joel and my brother for that one. And yeah, when people say that, I honestly feel embarrassed, and I don't know why. It just makes me feel really awkward.
Well, I think you should be feeling really proud, because it's not easy for you to, like, from the start of the journey, like, you've been thrown in the deep end. You've got up there, I mean, back to 95, and you've been doing it for 10 years, and you've been out here shining. You got your show on House FM. You're still DJing out. You're still making people dance. You're still making people smile. So I won't go on and on and on, but I would like to commend you and thank you for being an inspiration and being someone to look to, and seeing you out there is an inspiration to people like me to get up and keep going. So thank you very much, Shiloh. I'm really, really excited to have you. And I'm really, really, really excited to have this back to back. So I reckon we're going to be going on a bit of a journey, aren't we? Like, we're going to talk to you. We're going to have 5 tracks that you've, tell me about your 5 tracks.
Oh God, I've even forgot what I put on the key. So the first one I think would have to be MJ Cole. Oh my God, Sincere Dub.
Oh my God, that is such a classic tune. But when you get up, I am going to be like picking your brain and asking you about the individual tracks. So I think maybe, what time is it? Oh, it's past. So I think it is time for us to step over to the decks. We're going to hear your 5 tracks and have a little chat. And then we are going to have a little solo of you, giving probably about 15, 20 minutes of Shiloh shutting it down. And then we're going to get into a back-to-back. And I think for us, we're just going to go on a play journey, ain't we?
Yeah, just whatever.
All right, then. So why don't we step over to the decks? Thank you for coming, Shiloh.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to be amazing. Let's go over to the decks. Neville? Where is our Neville? I don't know today. He's been out there. He's been out there having a chin wag. Let's get. Oh, I think I can sort us out. And this one, as you said, the first one was MJ Cole, Sincere. Tell me about the first time that you heard this track. Or can you even remember?
The first time I heard it was on pirate radio. The first time I danced to it was at Back to 95. I used to be a regular there.
This is a tune, like tune, history, tunage. So this is Be Sincere, MJ Cole. So that one, would you say that's a garage, kind of garagey sound? Yes.
That's how I would have said.
Yeah, a bit of garage. So what's your second track?
Come on. An original, Walking on Thin Ice.
Walking on Ice, yeah, this is classic.
This would have been Back to 95, actually, and Groove Odyssey. Yeah, I think, I don't know if Groove Odyssey was the first place I heard it, but this is just, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely what it's like history. I remember, I think I was quite young, probably when I was about, it can't be, I'm trying to think how old this is, because I'm sure I remember hearing this when I was like 19, good 20 years old, surely it has to be. Let's have a quick Google check. Let's check on Google. Google's got all the answers. I met a girl. Her name is Shiloh. She likes to mash down the deck. No way. That's a lie. That's a lie. Don't trust Google. Google, you're lying. I met a girl. No way. Must be re-released. Yeah, that probably sounds about right, to be honest. 2006, imagine.
I met a girl who tried to walk across
Tried to mash up the decks.
'Cause it was wintering, all this was ice. That's a hell of a thing to do, you know. They say the lake is as big as the ocean. I wonder if she knew about it.
Okay, give me the next one then. Well, this is my song.
Exactly.
This is my song. Like, so this is like, push, fast, the sucre. Listen, this is one of those tracks. J'ai oublié de demander de sucre. I'm obligated to demand the sugar. Qu'est-ce que j'ai? What? something. I'm gonna find out exactly, but it's like what I want is the sugar, and then you know.
Puce, puce. Passe, passe. Passe le sucre.
Yeah, like from the time I heard the intro, it got me. And then once it kicked in,
Yeah, it's like this is one of the ones that I play now. Like as I've started DJing, I couldn't wait to draw this one.
Puce, puce.
this one,
Passe, passe. Passe le sucre.
311.
J'ai
But
oublié
you know what? And I
de
think one thing
demander
for
du
me is,
sucre.
before I became a
Qu'est-ce que je
DJ,
ferais
I didn't know what the
sans
name of the
sucre?
songs were. Like obviously this one,
Étire-toi
Sucra, you can get it. But there's a lot of ones that I got no idea what they're called or who they're by.
Verse sur
I
moi.
buy a lot of stuff. Sometimes I don't even know what the song is called. I just see the artist and I'm like,
Tomber.
yeah, that looks kind of alright. Like the amount of times I've been looking
I've
at
had
it, I'm
sweet
like,
things.
What's it called? What's it called? Like, right, I'm just
I
gonna
want
go by
something
artist.
new.
Yeah, I mean, I completely get that because I think when I'm downloading, I might hear somebody or one track and I'll be like, all right, I would just go, all right, I want all of those. Like when something like Billow Soul, like I've got one of these songs, Space Dance, I just love. It does something to me. So then, like once I had that, and I was like, nah. And then now I'm Billow Soul mad. I'm getting it all. And then now I'm just like, well, I'll have one of those then. Okay, so then what's your track number? What is it? Number 4.
De sucre.
And what is the name of this one?
This is Not Manny, Sweat. This was just one of the songs that I found like when I was early on in House FM that I absolutely love. And if you ask my brother, if you had to pick a song, he'd be like, yeah, it's
This is Shiloh's song. Sweat for Shiloh, yeah. Let's have a listen then. I don't know if I've heard it. When it comes in, I might have heard it. I might have to Shazam it so I can download it later. That's one of my tricks. Ooh, bassline. Yeah, this one I like. This one. Still got I like that kind of electro. I don't see me getting confused with my drummers, but it's kind of got like an electro sound. Is that right? I don't know. Shit I like. This is shit I like. I like it too. I do like the naughty, cheeky vocals.
got one tune and I really want to play it, but I don't know if I really should. It is.
Well, maybe why not? Because what happened was, I'm a saucy one, and some of my poetry is extremely saucy. So I've got Control Me, which is like a minimal tech, and I've got Connection, which are minimal techs, and they are very, very horny, explicit pornetry tracks. So maybe, but the punk. What, you can't play it on?
Like on House FM, I'm really conscious because of the time I start. I try not to have anything that's got bad language in it.
Okay. So maybe Funky Smith might come in here and give me the eye, because he does get on me a bit when I get my old pornetry out, doing my saucy vocals. So maybe we should behave. I don't like behaving, but come on then. Well, let's see what your fifth and final track is. He's bringing it in. And this one. out to all those tuned in on Mixcloud. Shout out Princess. Don't worry about it. Let's just have it. Let's have it. And this one is called
Dronganism by Dorley.
Dronganism.
This is one of my all-time favourites.
Dronganism. I mean, I'm really liking the name. So let's have a little listen to Dronganism. Coming. The bassline's gonna get us. Hey, shut it down, Shiloh. Yeah, this is powerful. Nice. I would say this is tech house, isn't it? Tech house.
Yeah, I think this was around them times there, like maybe 2012, maybe a bit earlier that this came out.
Yeah, so powerful. I'm definitely feeling it. Okay, so that was your 5 famous 5 tracks. And they're tracks that have been with you on your journey, that resonate with you.
Definitely, especially the earlier part of my journey.
Okay, so well now I'm gonna let you get into a little bit of a solo and just give by my lovely listeners a bit of a Shiloh show off of your shutdown style. So I'm gonna leave you be. I'm not gonna keep bothering you with my big mouth, but I'm gonna let you get into a mix. So 15 minutes of Shiloh Fire.